August 27th, 2021. I'm Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop, and fall is coming, so we thought we would do some fun stuff today. We went back in our archives and some of our new stuff, and we came up with lots of fall things to inspire you. And since Starbucks came out with their pumpkin spice latte on Tuesday, I'm gonna actually try it for the first time. I've actually never had it. So we're gonna kind of tie the theme of the drink, the food, the everything. So we're gonna start off by showing, I'll try it in a second. I'm kind of nervous about trying it. But let's start with our Witch's Night Out book, which is an INSPO book that came out. Let's see what year it came out. 2019, so it's about 2 years old. And in the book is this table runner. So I'm gonna just show you side to side the table runner. And this one was quilted by Mike, and it has spider webs on it, and it's been washed. So you can see we have gotten some questions before on how does a quilt look when it's washed, and this is how it looks. It just kind of crinkles up. And if you have pre-starched your fabric, you will have less shrinkage. But if you don't pre-wash your fabric, you will have more shrinkage because the shrinkage hasn't happened. So this is part of the book. And then I'm going to show you the cover to the quilt in just 1 second. The quilt that's on the cover. And so let's see. This is the quilt. And so this would be perfect to start off fall. And this uses the Fig Tree collection that came out a couple of years ago that's since been reprinted. And it's been reprinted as part of, several of the prints have been reprinted several times. So that's the first one that I wanted to show you. And again, that's Witch's Night Out. It is a 59-page book. And let's see. I'm going to show you some other little table runners. Now, these were things that I made this year and have already featured on the live stream, but I decided kind of to go with all of this that I am going to go ahead and decorate my house for fall this weekend. And so a great way to show all these quilts. Some of them I've made, some of them other people have made. This one I made earlier in the year with block 2 of Socialites. And it's these are 3-inch blocks right here. And I made 16 3-inch blocks. And I'm gonna put this on my side table, and right here I went ahead and put medium to low volume prints there so that when I put something in it, you will see all your dark. So I intentionally made the center. I guess for me, I don't love these kind of prints, so I put those in the center because I'm gonna cover them up. So this is block 2. Lisa Bonjean designed it. And here I just used scraps. So I used All Hallows Eves, Figs and Shirtings. Those are both by Fig Tree. And I also used Shine On by Bonnie and Camille. And I used, I think, a Kimberly Basic also by Maywood. And it's only 13 inches. And on the back, I just used some leftover prints and sewed in one of the Sweetwater labels. And you'll see when you're looking, like just my nail for reference, I love my quilting to be this tiny. And Gina quilted this one for me. So I'm excited to take this one home today and display it. Yeah, and this is Kimberly Basics on the binding. But yeah, I used everything from my stash. And then right after that, this year, also during live stream, I made this. So this was kind of when I was demoing all the different size blocks. Then I moved, I think this was actually before the other one, but this is 6-inch blocks from Socialites. And they're all these are free blocks. So you can find all of these patterns at Fat Quarter Shop. And this is also the same collections that I just mentioned. And this one actually fits on a side table that I got from Hobby Lobby that's in my sewing room, and I made it fit there exactly. So when I'm decorating this weekend, I can get this one put out. And then also, one thing that I do like when I do quilting is I love a crosshatch. So I think it's not a pantograph, so I think it's harder for Gina to do. but I do sometimes ask for a pantograph that is on point. So this is a pantograph that's on point, and these are about 1/2 inch apart. So, and you can see how tiny it is. And let's see what I did on the back here. Okay, so this was, I remember I sewed this on camera because during socialites I did a lot of sewing demos, and I didn't like it because you can't see the block. I mean, the block is totally lost. But I wasn't going to throw it away, so I put it on the back and I just sewed in another label. And then, let's see, later in the year, so it's actually funny because I thought I had a lot more quilts that were fall. So unless they're hidden, I have fewer things. So Scrapbook of Quilts we've shown recently, and they're both sitting right next to me on the couch. So I obviously love the fig tree oranges. And so this is the same collections you saw in the others. But I love it. It originally came out as All Hallows Eve. Then it came out as like Pumpkins and Blossoms, and now she has some of her oranges being reprinted in Fresh Fig Favorites. So I just collect her oranges because I like them. So I don't even think I bought anything to make this one. So this is from the new Scrapbook of Quilts book. This is one of the pillows I made. And then this one is from the brand new Cozy Up collection, which I love. Now, these I will put kind of all together, all of the fig tree together, and then I'll probably put this, somewhere else just because, I don't know, it's so cute. I love it. So I might have to put it where my kids aren't because they like to throw things at each other. They think it's hilarious. So they will like literally, I'm like, the day you break something is the day that you're going to be in trouble, but they haven't broken anything yet. So, and this one I do want to show, I want to show both of these up close for the quilting. So this one I picked little tiny pumpkins, so you can see how tiny they are, and I just love the quilting. And I do love this white on white dot. It is in Cozy Up, and you can barely see that dot, but I love when a collection has a white on white dot. I just love that. And it's basically this dot, except that it's white on white. So I actually, maybe I should buy some more of that before it sells out. And when I was looking at this pillow yesterday, I was thinking it would look better. I think my design would look better if I would have had darks right here. So this, and this, I think if I would have put a darker print, the design would have looked better. And this one, I also did a small quilting on it, and Gina did the quilting on this, and this is just called an orange peel. So, and I think she's got a couple of different orange peels she does. And then, so those are both from a Scrapbook of Quilts. And then this one I made years ago. I need to hurry up and drink this pumpkin spice latte. Let's see, so I made this probably 3 or 4 years ago with Lori Holt in a hotel. And this one, like I said, I was going to start showing you stuff that I just made up or quilts that are older. So this one, Lori literally drew, and I just made it. So there's not a quilt for this exactly. And for this layout, I did use her Farm Girl Vintage book, I believe, for the layout, but I think I might have made it longer. So this one isn't something that you can just 100% replicate. And this one I think Mike quilted. And on the back, I put this like text print. And with a backing like this, one thing that I will do, let me show it to you this way. And this is one thing that I'm pretty particular about. I'm gonna pull this across and you're gonna be able to tell. And I'm gonna make sure that it's correct before I say it. So this one I bought and I did not piece. Now, you could have easily bought and pieced the backing, but I didn't, because I wanted it to not have a cut in it. But also, you're going to notice there's no label on here, because this was kind of before I was doing live streams, and I was just kind of doing whatever. I think this might have been 4 years ago, before I had kind of started doing my pieced backings with my labels. And this one, the pantograph's a little big for me. I think it's a little too big. But this, I would say, is how most people like their quilting, is to be, big. To me, it just is distracting. the next one we found last week, and this one came out a while ago from Riley Blake Designs. And when it came out as a boxed kit. So they sell boxed kits, and there were so many people who were emailing customer service and saying, I really want the pattern. So what Riley Blake decided to do is, for their boxed kits, the pattern will only be in the kit, but then like maybe a year later, 6 months later, they'll release the pattern. So this one I made a couple years ago. I do think there's a label on this one though. I made it as part of the boxed kit, but now you can get the pattern. And this fabric is Autumn Love, and most of it is out of stock. I know we don't have any bundles, but we do have pieces of some of it. And it's a Lori Holt fabric. And this is her Gunny Sack Autumn piece. And this one I think I might have made this one a couple blocks longer, but I mean, I can't remember right now, but I think I made it a little, yeah, I made it longer than the pattern called for. And I did that on purpose so that it would fit a certain table. So I always am thinking about where I'm going to put it, you know, in my house, to make sure that I customize it. So sometimes I'll make my borders, like this one didn't have a border. So I added that border right here so that it will fit my table exactly. So, and I don't think I had to add anything on the side, but always think about where you're going to put it, and you know, make it match your house so that you'll actually use it. And then on the back I put another, this was from Autumn Love, and let's see, I'm going to turn it around. This one this was kind of when I was new at doing it, and what I did is I just turned the edges under and just hand stitched it down, but you can see that backing through it. So I didn't sew it in. Actually, I put it on after. Okay, this is before Gina started doing my binding. So I actually got this back from Gina. This is chicken wire quilting. I ironed this down so the quilting is not on top of it, and then I just hand stitched my binding over it. So I don't do it this way anymore. And to be honest, this doesn't even look good because this is like red, white, and black, and this is orange. So I don't know why I did this, and it doesn't say the year, but that same year, I also did these two little pillows. They're called Autumn Love Flying Geese pillows. And on this one, I did a blog tutorial. And it's the same exact fabric as the table runners, so I will obviously put those near each other when I'm decorating this weekend, because I am so excited to decorate. And then I did add some of her large vintage trim. And on this one, we're going to zoom in a little bit. And this one was one of the first times I used my Sashiko machine to actually really get that stitching. So the Sashiko machine is made by Baby Lock, and it will give the hand stitched look. So that was when I was kind of learning my machine, and I just used a plain white, and it looks really good. And I mean, from seeing this, you're going to see that I love this Autumn Love collection, obviously, because I have the two pillows, I have this, and then I have this. So this was, I wanted something for my studio to sit on one of my side tables, and I'm always just thinking of what can I use that I already have. So I already had the Great Granny Squared book. In this book, there is this label. I'm gonna find the page without showing you the instructions. And so this is the label that's written in the book, and it's exactly this. So I thought that would make a cute table runner, and so I just used Lori's fabric. And also on this one, I'm going to compare it to my pillows. I also did the stitching with the Sashiko, and I'm going to compare it to one pillow and show you. I think it would have looked better if the quilt would have been tighter quilting. So I think I did 1 inch here, and this is 1/2 inch, and I think it would have looked better if I would have done the 1/2 inch, but that was when I was just starting to use that machine and I was a little bit worried about getting it done. And then around the same time, Lori released some So Simple shapes around the same time. Now, of course, I don't remember exactly which shape this is, but she made this for me. So she put together the applique piece and this, and then I just stitched it down, and I did stitch it down after I did the quilting, because she thought it needed like something. So I added that. And this one is a completely free pattern on our site. And it came out a couple years ago, but then, I mean, it came out as a different form of a video or different form of a pattern, if that makes sense. And we thought, well, you know, we should repurpose that because it's already out there, it's already free. So this is called Maple Leaf. It's our classic and vintage. And here is the table runner. And this one is a completely free pattern. And on the back, there are just 4 fabrics put together. Now, I didn't make this one. I'm not sure who did. I think that Mike quilted it just by looking at it. And this is the Bella Solid, and these are the All Hallows Eve. And this would be great for something that you have a centerpiece, like if you have a table with the centerpiece, because you could put the centerpiece here and then like a bowl on top of here, and then you're just going to see those points coming out. In fact, I had a bowl in here that would have looked really good to show that, but I actually took it home yesterday. But instead, I can show you with these. So this is a free pattern. This is also a free tutorial. So see how great that would look on your table? You just kind of see the center. But this is a video tutorial called No Sew Shannon Cuddle Pumpkin tutorial that we released. And basically, these are foam. They're little pumpkins that we just covered up with Shannon fabric, and oh yeah, they're pumpkins. And then what we did is we ripped off the little top and then glued it back down. So this is something fun that I can decorate my house with that didn't take very much time, and it's a no-sew project, which is awesome. And then this pattern actually came out this week. This is called Pumpkin Patch. It's by A Quilting Life Designs, which is Sherry McConnell. So this is a PDF pattern that you can get on our website. She will also have a paper pattern that will be coming in next week. And she does do a video to talk about this, so I would encourage you to watch her video. But if you look at this, she's combining, those are fig tree fabrics, and she's combining All Hallows Eve with a different collection that I can't think of the name of. Oh, I think it's the Christmas collection by Fig Tree. She's combining something separate in there. And then the next pop-up is called Hey Pumpkin by Chelsea Stratton, which is her daughter. And they're both Moda designers, and they design under the name Sherry and Chelsea. So this is the same thing. This came out this week. It is a PDF pattern, but we will also have paper patterns on that one. So we just have so much fall to show you. I'm going to actually drink this pumpkin spice latte, answer questions, and then keep going. I still have lots more to show you that are fall, but I'm going to just take a break. Okay, so this is pumpkin spice latte. I don't know if I'm going to like it. No, no, no. I do not like that. Okay, so there's my pumpkin spice latte. That's about enough of that. Okay, so Inquisitive is asking, what is the difference between an orange peel and a cathedral window design? So so if you're talking about long arm quilting, that would look the same. But an orange peel is an applique process, and cathedral window is more of a stained glass process look, but I don't really I don't do either of those. Will there be another block of the month starting soon? Oh my gosh, we have block of the month starting all the time. We are actually about to release the Charity 2022, and that will be sold as a quilt kit, but again, we will be sewing it more as a block of the month. So you can look forward to that coming out next week. Brenda is asking, how do you decide what fabric collections get made available in Jolly Bars? By the way, I love getting Jolly Bars in the Sew Sampler. It's my favorite cut for Sew Sampler. So we decide based on, it's a combination of what I like, what I know our customers will like, and what sells the best for us. So what sells the best for us as a store might not be what sells best for Susie Q down the street. So it's basically the best designers that we sell is how we decide on that. And actually, Kevin actually decides with me. So the two of us decide together. Was the latte made with coffee or tea? I don't know. They just ordered me a pumpkin spice latte, and yeah, it's I think it's got coffee or something. I don't know. It's gross. But I'm not going to throw it away. I'm going to save it because I know there's somebody here who will drink it. What is my favorite dot SKU? Okay, it's sold out, so I'll let you know when it's back in stock. Hello from Virginia. I love all the creations and videos. Thank you. I love that now we have like kind of a library, so to speak, of projects to pull from. We're actually going to start documenting all the quilts that we have so that, and kind of document them by month so that we can always show you stuff. And then like it's going to be really cool in 10 years because you're going to see stuff and you're going to think, oh my gosh, like right now when you think of stuff from the 80s or 90s, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so out of style. That'll eventually happen here. Am I going to Garden of Quilts? I am not because Emma has a dance conflict. Good morning from Puerto Rico. Good morning. Afternoon from Hampshire, UK. Do you think you could make a nice table runner from The Witch on the Broom from that book? Sure, I think you could. You would just, let me see. The Witch on the Broom. Well, the broom has a cat, not a witch. So let's look at it from the upper camera. I think you could do a table runner here. And I mean, that whole row honestly could just be a table runner. You could just take the row from the quilt. You could also move the hat down, but you would have to make this taller. So sometimes with something like that, you might want to just draw it out, get the book, and then kind of draw your pieces on a piece of paper and just kind of see how you think it looks visually. Holly Martin says that when she presses seams open, they're coming apart. I've gone to a 1.4 stitch length but still have the issue. Do I lock stitch at the beginning of my seams? I don't. So if your stitch length is that small and your stitches are coming out, I would make your tension tighter so that your stitches are less loose. Now, I have no idea how to tell you how to do that because honestly, when I'm doing it, I just start turning a bunch of knobs until it works. But I definitely would work with your tension so it's like tighter. And when you stick your, like when you sew a seam and then honestly have your piece, stick your seam ripper in it. And your seam ripper should be able to hold your piece. It shouldn't start falling apart. Fun question for Kimberly. If I could buy just one pre-cut size for the rest of your life, what would I choose? Layer cakes. I love layer cakes. When will Woodland Wonderland start? A couple of weeks. We're still cutting those kits. So we have the fabric, but we're cutting it as the block of the month, and we're cutting a lot. So we're just trying to get all that done. Can someone explain all the trimmings block of the month? We'll talk about that a little bit later. But we definitely have a summary of it from last week that you can definitely refer to last Friday's live stream. Is there a calculator that will tell me how much backing and yards I need for a quilt top? Not that I know of. There might be one on Robert Kaufman's website. I wanted to say thank you, except that I can't read that. I wanted to say thank you for super chats from Cornhusker State Stitchers and Valeria Bauer. So thank you to them. And now I'm going to just continue with all of the fall quilts that we have. And I still have a lot of other stuff to show you. But since it is kind of going into the fall season, I thought it was a great way to transition, you know, from the summer. Kids are going back to school. So I'm going to show you the Cozy Up Precuts that just arrived. So they're right here. So this is actually one of my favorite collections of the year. This is messy, just ignore. We must have photoed it. Or we must have messed with it. So this is Cozy Up by Coriander Quilts, which is Corey Yoder, and this is Corey. So she has all the pre-cuts. She's got a honey bun, a jelly roll, a jolly bar, a layer cake, fat eighth bundle, fat quarter bundle, charm pack, and mini charm pack. Now what I wanted to tell you is I know that by Monday the fat quarter bundles and fat eighth bundles will be sold out. Again, this collection released a couple of months late, so because of that our pre-sales were higher since they were online longer. Now I am going to tell you that I'm going to be doing a fun video, and it's going to be a pre-recorded video, and I'm going to take this jelly roll and come up with a quilt, and we're going to show it to you on a time lapse. So I'm going to actually start that tonight. So that's going to be a fun video to look forward to in about 3 weeks. So that's going to be fun. And I will even kind of put together the backing on camera just so you can kind of see how I come up with it. We have lots of jolly bars, lots of layer cakes, lots of jelly rolls. We're just kind of low on these two. But I do love this collection. I think it's a great fall collection. That quilt that I'm doing is amazing. I do have one other quilt that I really wanted to make that I don't have time to make, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. I bought the fabric to make it. So I actually have it in my stash to make. And it is this. It's so cute. So I bought all of the fabric. So I bought all of the... I didn't buy this. I bought from the sample yardage. So in here you get the Coriander Quilts pattern. Now this is actually a plaid fabric from her line, so you don't have to stitch the, like you don't have to put together a 9 patch or a 16 patch because her fabric is this way. One thing that I thought would be really cool though is to put these pumpkins where when you cut the rectangles you cut it on the diagonal so it's on point. And so this is how your kit will come packaged, and it does come with a Bella Solid and not the white on white from the group. But I do want to make this, so I just thought I would show it to you guys because I love it. I love the design. I love anything that takes a lot of time. Or when I first started quilting, and when you start seeing, and you're going to see one in a second, that is kind of what used to be popular 20 years ago. And what I used to do is I would get one block. Most of the quilts that came out then, I guess what I'm trying to say is they would be one block, you made them 50 times. Or one block, you made it 30 times. And now the trend is more like you make a lot of different blocks. So this would be really fun because one weekend you could do the trucks, one weekend you could do the pumpkins, one weekend you could do the maple leaves, one weekend you could put it together, and then one weekend you could you know, do your backing. So I like quilts like this because they'll also keep my interest a little bit more rather than making one block just over and over and over. But that's definitely a trend that is definitely, I guess, happening now. And we do have a pop-up of it, the actual quilt photographed, and the photo is from Corey Yoder. And her quilting I love. It's like loops. And this one I want to show you. So this one is a Jolly Bar kit that's going to be available soon. We just haven't had time to cut it yet. But this is, if you buy the Jolly Bar from Cozy Up, this is the free pattern that you will get, and this is a fourth of it. So you make 16 blocks, and it's really cute. And what you could do, so here it is, and we have it ready for photography, and Mike quilted it, I think. So this one's really cute. It just kind of happened to be perfectly timed. So I'm going to answer some more questions. Let's see. Do Corey Yoder's fabrics match from collection to collection? I have her apricot and ash and thought of buying some fabrics from Cozy Up to match. I think that they would match. They're not going to be exact match, but I think they will match. With the Cozy Up Fun Quilt, are you just using one jelly roll? Yes. So basically, they gave me one jelly roll, and I have some random fabrics for backings. But it's just going to be a jelly roll, no background fabric, no nothing. And I mean, I have a kind of an idea of what I'm going to do, but it's going to be one of those, just have fun in my sewing room. So my plan is tonight to starch all of the fabrics, and then tomorrow, I don't know. It's kind of going to be one of those videos that start and stop because Emma has a bunch of stuff tomorrow. Zandra said, hi from Helsingborg, Sweden. Thanks for all your videos and tutorials. I learned so much. Well, thanks for watching. Will I get more Joe Morton fabrics? I would love to see more Civil War production fabrics. So anytime that Moda releases a Joe Morton collection, we purchase it. She is now in semi-retirement, I would say, so she doesn't do as many collections as she used to do. So we order what is available. I love your top. Great color for you. Thank you. Faye said, do you buy 1 or 2 layer cakes of the same fabric? I usually just buy one. Can you tell us which of Lori's books we would need for your next project you're working on? Okay, so we have 2 projects we're working on. One is going to use the Spelling Bee book. That one's going to come out first. The second one is going to use Farm Girl Vintage 1, Farm Girl Vintage 2, and Vintage Christmas. I love the acorns. Is it beginner friendly? Yes. Did I starch my backing for Bats and Booze? Yes, I did. And so now I'm going to move to All the Trimmings. And All the Trimmings is a brand new free program that we're bringing you. It's Christmas themed, and it's going to start September 7th. So what you would do now is go ahead, we're going to zoom in, you're going to go ahead and download this free pattern. And since last week, there's been some changes. So to find out about this program, watch last Friday's video. And we are using the All the Trimmings layer cake. It's sold out over the weekend, but we got more. So what we have is what we have. Once they're gone, they're going to be gone. Now, we're suggesting using 9900-118 for your background. If you don't want black as a background, what I would do is go to our blog, and we posted different color combinations for you. So go to the Jolly Jabber blog, and you can go to Google and type All the Trimmings Jolly Jabber blog. It's going to give you some different options. So if you don't like black, you can do this. Now there is also a cross stitch that goes along with this. So we have plenty of the background, we have plenty of the layer cakes, but once these sell out, you can actually buy 2 Jolly Bars. So once the layer cakes sell out, if you would like, you can buy 2 Jolly Bars. The pattern will work with 2 Jolly Bars. Once that sells out, because that is going to happen, you can use this collection, Red Barn Christmas, and it's going to give you a similar look, and the 118 Bella matches also. And then after those sell out, we are going to have Red Barn Christmas layer cakes. They just have not arrived yet. And so that is our free All the Trimmings that starts September 7th. And on each Tuesday, we're going to release a free pattern, and it's going to be 5 parts, and we can pop up the dates for you if you want to see it. It's more of a row quilt, and it's definitely more of a beginner quilt. And just so you know, we do try to alternate backgrounds. So you'll see Bats and Booze had a white background. Christmas has a black. We alternate backgrounds so that we can reach a big audience and appeal to a lot of people. And also, it will depend on the fabric we choose and what background is going to make our design pop out. So that is our free gift from us to you. And we also just finished Bats and Booze. And this is a completely free pattern. It is just now all available. It's called Bats and Booze. We have free patterns and free videos. They will stay free forever on our site and on YouTube. And all the patterns are released. So, I'm not sure if this is my sample. Yeah, it is my sample. I'm going to show you the backing now also. But this is my sample. So this is actually the one that I pieced on the blog. And what I wanted to show you, that I pieced on video. See this little pantograph? It's the same one. She just did it a little bit tinier on the pillow. So even though this is fall and this is Halloween, that one pantograph works with both. And I should have known this was mine, because you can tell when I show quilts, you can always tell if it's mine or not. If the quilting is tiny, it's mine. If the quilting is large, it is definitely not mine. So that is how you can always tell if I've sewn something. Now what I did on this one is, here's my backing, and I sewed, I think I did this on video too. I don't think I did. I think I just sewed the backing together. But what I did is I added this ghost fabric, made a label, folded it under, stitched it down, and it's stitched in. And Gina quilted this one from me, from Thread Graffiti. And so those are our free sew-alongs, well, some of the free sew-alongs from this year. Now I'm going to show you all the stuff I've been working on at home. Some of these sew-alongs are free. Some of them are paid. We try to do a mix of different looks, different designers, all that kind of jazz. And this is Pat Sloan's Summer Soiree, Block 8. She did release her finishing today. So if you want to see that, go to I Love to Make Quilts and you will find all of that. I'm going to pop up her block for this week. And so she's making 12-inch blocks using figs and shirtings, which is a fig tree fabric. And what I'm doing is doing the kitty corn fabric collection. I am converting mine to 6 inches just to be different. And I'm hoping that I can get it done this year so I can display it for Halloween. And so this is my block 8. I did use H150 for these half square triangles. I am pressing this one open, and I am going to figure out how to convert her finishing to match 6 inches. And I have selected what I'm going to be using as the outside of my block, so I can show that to you next week when I get some done. So that is Summer Soiree, completely free on ilovetomakequilts.com by Pat Sloan. The next one I'm going to show you, but it's going to be the last time I show it to you for a bit. So this one, you can tell that it's been handled a lot because my blocks are starting to fray, and that's what happens when we photo and when I make them months and months ago. So this is completely free on Lisa Bonjean's website, which is Primitive Gatherings, and she is raising money for Hogs for Heroes, so please read all about that on her blog, and she also has a YouTube channel. So I'm making my blocks exactly like hers, and so I made mine the same. And this one I also use triangle paper. So I'm always figuring out what triangle paper to use in my patterns. And what I'm doing is I'm going to have this assembled. So the reason you're not going to see it in the next couple of weeks is I am going to go ahead and assemble this quilt so that it's ready, because it's actually going to be a Christmas gift for somebody. So for the background, I'm going to be using 1040-42. It's a little bit lighter, but that's what I'm going to use for my sashing. Now, I would suggest you check out Lisa Bonjean's website and blog and videos, because she's making the quilt 4 times and 4 different backgrounds, and that will give you kind of an idea. Even if you're not making this quilt, it can kind of give you an idea of things you can do with fabric to always make it look different. So even though you're making blocks, you can differentiate your quilt by changing your background. I'm going to use this as binding. we need to starch it. And then this is going to be the backing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to piece a big piece at the top and a big piece at the bottom. And I'm going to put this in the center. And I think I might have shown this to you guys before. This is going to go across the backing. And it's just leftover pieces that I had. And this one is one of the Sweetwater labels. So you can see I put a piece of Bella on the back and just pieced it in. And luckily this one actually matches the fabric. So that's going to be my backing. So the next time you see it, Gina will have I'll have pieced it, Gina will have quilted it, and it will be ready for Christmas because it's a Christmas gift. So this is a free sew along. The next free sew along is by Corey Yoder. So this is completely free on Corey Yoder's blog. It's called Spring Brook Blossoms. Block 5, you make it twice. And on this one, I'm making it exactly like her. And again, triangle paper. This is H200. So anytime I can make triangle paper work, I do. And let's see, so the bottom of all, if you wanted to join this and save time, all of the bottom pattern instructions are the same. It's just the flowers that change. And this one's called Goldenrod. And this one I am using the white on white dot from the collection, and the collection is called Spring Brook. And I use 2 layer cakes. And this one, the next set will be block 6, and you'll make it twice, and then it will be at the end, and then we'll assemble everything and put it together and then show you a finished quilt. And I love these colors, so this one is actually like a personal favorite of mine, one that I've really enjoyed making. And I'm still sewing along on Sampler Spree. Now, this one, I took a little break, but now I'm back in the swing of it. And this one, Lori was out of town, so she couldn't help me pick the fabric choices, so my blocks might not be as good as normal. But these are my blocks, and I'll just talk about them a little bit as I go. But this one, obviously, I used triangle paper. This one, when I made these units, I made them bigger and trimmed them down. This one, I basically made each ring around bigger and trimmed it down, which is how it gets that perfect look. Now, I made all of these blocks on Monday, this Monday. So I was able to do all of this. It did probably take me 9 hours though, to be honest. This one, I really like it. Kind of looks like a little bow. And this one I used triangle paper. These little units right here, I strip pieced and cut down. So those are the first 4. And this week's theme was pink, so I did kind of stick to the pink. This one I obviously used triangle paper, and I used the Eleanor Burns small flying geese ruler. Oh, this one. This is a hot mess, and I don't like it, and I think we should come up with paper for it. So what I did, it's too big. It is 6 5/8, but it's actually 6 5/8 with some of these points chopped off, so it actually came out to 6 3/4. So what I was trying to do was make it bigger and trim it down as I went, but it didn't come out, but it's fine. Nobody will know. Then I started changing colors a little bit, but here, same thing. I use our It's So Emma flying geese paper and triangles on a roll. Same thing here, triangles on a roll, and then I used strip piecing for those. Now this block is a little bit weird. I don't know why it's designed why it's designed that way, because it just looks weird, but I sewed it right. It's just weird. Now, this one, this is when I was getting tired and I had to take a break after this. So I made that block, and that is messy. None of my points match. It's all wibbly wobbly. It's not good. So I took a nap and came back and made that one, because I was like, okay, when I start making blocks like this that are sloppy, and just ugly and not, I just take a nap. So this one has a little note that I'm not going to actually use it, but that's how I know when I need to step aside. I actually don't think I took a nap. I actually think I went and cross-stitched and then came back. And then this one, this was the last one I made, and I kind of had a hard time coming up with something. I wanted something in the center that would really show off, and I had used the blue version of that print. So I went ahead and pulled the brown and figured out a piece that would match, and of course I used triangle paper. So now I'm going to answer some questions. And I still have more to show, but that's kind of all the things. And then I do have a quilt that I am going to sew along with to show. Do you have to buy the Jolly Bar to get the quilt pattern? Yes. So anytime we have a Jolly Bar pattern that comes in the Jolly Bar, you have to buy the pattern. We eventually will release it in a book, but we are not right now working on a book for Jolly Bars right at this moment. And we do have a question about the pillows. This is Cozy Up collection. And this is All Hallows Eve. Is the Cozy Up quilt just pieced? Yes. Will the quilt be enough to starch for Cozy Up? I think so. Do I starch my jelly rolls? Yes, I do. And you will actually see how I do that because I am going to show that in the video. Someone is asking how my dog Piggy is. He's actually good, but he woke up in the middle of the night 5 times. So he's in a little bit of trouble. So that means he has to go for a couple of walks. He must have just been, there was something outside. I think it was, we have these road runners. I think it was the road runner. And so he was just barking and people are trying to sleep. Can you starch the fabrics with the Breakfast with Santa Jolly Bar kit? I don't know off the top of my head. You have to just look at your pattern. If, when you starch, your fabric will shrink 1/2 inch one direction. So you just have to make sure that that will work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. What is the size of the Corey Yoder small quilt? We're looking. 58 by 58. And when you get your Jolly Bars, your pattern will be on the back, right there. Please bring the dinosaur quilt to show. Yes, I will bring it when I get to working on it. So my goal is to finish Sampler Spree, finish the Americana quilt, finish the Springbrook, and then I'm gonna go and finish that. Is there a formal enrollment in the Cross Stitch University and all the trimmings? No, what we have you do is just join us when we release everything. Can you starch with 2 Jolly Bars? Again, kind of depends on the pattern. What size is all the trimmings going to be? 33 by 38. Okay, we're getting questions on all the trimmings background fabrics, so I'm going to refer you to our blog for different inspirations for that. What thread did I use for quilting of Bats and Boos? I used white. So I am very particular. I don't like my thread to show on any of my long arm quilting. So when Gina or Mike quilt my things, they just use something that's going to blend. And in fact, I think Mike even uses a thinner thread on my stuff because I don't like my thread to show. So whatever will blend is what the long arm quilters will use. How do I do so many sew-alongs at one time? I work all the time. Yesterday I worked, I don't even know. I just work a lot. But I am very efficient with my time. There's not a lot of like playing around. So yesterday I like cross-stitch quilt, be a taxi, you know, I mean, it's crazy. But like even tonight, I've already got my whole day planned. I've got some meetings that I'm doing with Kevin. I have exactly planned what I'm going to do, when I'm going to go home, what I'm going to starch. Emma's going to a football game. So I'm like, what time do you need to be there? She told me. I'm like, okay, I've already timed all that in. And then Kevin will probably pick her up because if it's super late, I don't like to drive late at night. So I might ride with him though, but he'll probably go get her. Are we able to tell what the pattern is with each Jolly Bar that we purchase? Yes. If you click into the Jolly Bar and scroll down, you will see additional images down there that show it to you. Was that a temporary wall hanging sleeve pinned on the back of Cozy Up? Yes. So there's a product that we sell. It's called like quilt hanger or something like that, and we pin them on and take them off because they usually don't belong to us. Like an employee will have made that, and so they probably don't want us like, you know, stitching something and then unstitching it. What are the size blocks for Corey Yoder? Let's see, right there by your toe. Sorry, let me see what this is. I made these a long time ago, so I don't remember. I have no idea. Let's see. $10.5 by $20.5 unfinished. How much fabric do I need to make a pillow using All Hallows Eve? So with these, I mostly made either churn packs or layer cakes. Depends what pattern. I always just kind of start with what I have and then go from there. Kimberly, do you machine embroider? No, I do not. I have a question. I'm wondering if you have a team member do a quilt along, and if you can have a team member do a quilt along in boutiques as an example for a quilt along. It would be nice if examples were created. We did in Socialites, so we have done that. If I took a nap every time I didn't like a block, I'd be sleeping all the time. Oh, that's funny. Well, sometimes what I do, and when I say I take a nap, sometimes I don't really even take a nap. I'll lay down, turn the lights off to like have a calm space, and I have this game I play, and there's like 3 daily challenges, and I'll play the 3 daily challenges, get up, have some tea, and go on up with my day. Yesterday was the first time since March of 2020 that I was at home by myself in my house with quiet time, and it was amazing, and I felt like a whole new person because my kids, well, I took them to school, and then they don't get home until late, so it was nice. Did the acorn pattern use a Jolly Bar? Yes. Is flannel easy to piece? Okay, so I haven't really used flannel very much. It definitely stretches a lot more than normal. So I would probably go to Lisa Bonjean's channel and ask her for some tips on flannel because she is a pro with that. What book are the pillows on the couch from? They are both from Scrapbook of Quilts book. When I look at a pattern, how do I determine what triangle paper to use? So I look at the unfinished size, and then if you take the unfinished size of what it's supposed to be, take 1/2 inch away, that's the finished size you need. We do have a free download that you can download on our site that is a triangle paper guide, and that will help you, but honestly I just do it in my head. What game do I play? Microsoft Sudoku. That's the only one I play. Will I starch my layer cake for all the trimmings? Yes, and you have plenty to starch. Is the Cozy Up large quilt just pieced? Yes. Lori said she likes my blocks. Oh, thanks. She's going to help me pick the last 3 colors. Now, next Friday, as an early announcement, I will not be here. We will have a live stream, but it will be, and that's what made me think of it was Lori. The live stream is going to be a video of me unhauling all of the things that I shopped for while I was in Utah. I have a previous commitment for next Friday for one of my kids. When I sew, do I sew during the week, at home, or at work? I sew at home. I cross stitch at work. I do everything at home that is sewing. I mean, we do have sewing machines here, but at home I can go faster. Callie said, what patterns use triangle paper that you recommend? I actually, all of our It's So Emma and Fat Quarter Shop patterns, we're going to start listing what size you need. But it doesn't matter what pattern I'm using. I always use triangle paper and always have. Nisha said, can I give her tips on using layer cakes? I find they're not perfect 10 inches. How do I manage it? Well, I always starch everything, and I always cut everything down. So if I was using a pattern that needed exactly 10 inches, I would start with a fat quarter and waste fabric, because I always want everything to be trimmed down. And so I actually don't like using the edges of layer cakes. Dakota would like a suggestion on the 3/4 inch pieces for 6-inch blocks. I would say starch, press, and just take your time. Have I seen the Bats and Booze quilt in different colorways? Yes, so you can follow our hashtag for that, and you will see lots and lots of quilts that have been made in different colorways. I'm waiting for Lori's My Happy Place quilt. Applique is not my favorite technique. I need lots of direction. Do you think the stitch along will be over my head? No, and I think that Lori has lots of great videos on her channel, and she has lots of great blog posts, and she does the applique using her sew-in interfacing, and I would refer to her videos and her blog posts for that. Is there a Triangles on a Roll book? Yes, there is. It's called Triangles on a Roll Quilts, I think. I think that's what it's called. I'm serious. I think that's what it's called. Jackie wants to know if I will ever make a video to make items in a bag or other materials other than cotton, like cork or faux leather. We might, if we have a guest come in to do that. I usually only sew with cotton. Any tips for the dinosaur quilt? Making the baby one, and I've said some naughty words a few times. Okay, yes, I have some tips. So the dinosaur quilt is designed by Elizabeth Hartman, and it has a kajillion pieces. So what I do is, if I'm going to work on that quilt, which is the reason I haven't worked on it, I give myself a full 8 hours to do all of the blocks in a section. So I want to be able to cut it, lay my alphabetties on it, sew it, and finish it in the same day, because that piece, it has too many pieces to just leave out, because they'll fly away or they'll get lost. But I would say on that quilt, I've starched everything, and I just take my time cutting. I have done it where I cut and piece one block completely, make sure I like the way that that is going together. And if I don't like something, then the next time I cut it a little bit different. So I do one block at a time, just at the beginning, to make sure I like it, in case I can come up with like maybe a quicker way or a better way to do it. But I would say just set aside a lot of time. But it is definitely a beautiful quilt. It's going to be worth it in the end. It just takes a lot of patience. But I totally see that. How many quilts a year do I make? Okay, so I am on quilt probably 30 right now, 30 or 40, something like that. At the end of the year, in January, we will do a video where I show every single quilt I made last year. I've never used black as a background. Will I need to pre-wash it to keep it from bleeding? We didn't pre-wash, but we did use starch, but I don't think it will bleed. Thank you to Janet Buster from Piggy for that super chat. So we love super chats, not required, but those are always fun to get. So like I said, at the end of the year, I'm not going to start a lot of new things, but this one I am going to start. So this is going to be a brand new sew along. It's going to be hosted by Sherry McConnell. If you go to her blog, she has dates of everything she's doing. So you can download this sheet on Sherry McConnell's blog, and it's going to tell you what she's doing week 1, week 2, and it's going to start in October, start and finish in October. So I am going to finish this one and do this one. So what I'm going to show you the fabrics I'm using. I'm going to do the same exact thing as she did. I'm going to pop up the picture of the quilt so you can see it, how beautiful it is. So that is the actual quilt. It's not too big, but I'm going to actually make it, and I'm just going to show you the fabrics. Now, we are pre-selling a quilt kit for this. And again, we have a limited number. So when they're gone, we won't have more. Now, this is not from the quilt kit. This is pre-yardage that I asked for from Moda. But this is the size cuts you're going to get in your kits from us, because I cut it down to the same size. So the kit has a lot of fabric. And when you first look at these fabrics, you think, pink, orange, purple, red. That's a lot of colors. Now go back and look at the quilt and how beautiful it is. It all mixes together. So that's something to try to remember when you're working with a quilt, is it's gonna all kind of blend together, and the way she has the fabric placed looks beautiful. And then there are a couple more pieces. But this is one that I have not started it. This is actually my fabric. This is the dot. It's a big dot. And so I'm actually going to, the pattern is available now, so if you wanted to start, you can purchase the paper pattern from us or the PDF, and you could actually start early if you're using a different fabric. This fabric is called Sincerely Yours. It has not shipped to us from Moda yet, but we are pre-selling the amount that we ordered. So I'm just kind of telling you now because I think it will be sold out by October. Now Sherry is going to host this. She's going to have a series of how-to videos every Friday during the month of October to give you tips on how to make this. And this is the backing that I'm going to use. The next thing is that I'm going to show you is our video of the week. And it is called Broken Dishes, and it released, let's see, in October of 2019. And this one we used featuring Vanessa ombre fabrics. And so you can see that this block, and when we made it, you just get a different look. And so this is modern for all my people who love modern and love to see modern things. This is for you. So this is a classic and vintage pattern. So the block is completely free. And if you want to sew it into a quilt, we have a low price PDF. Now I do want to show you this from the front. This is a quilt that is pieced on point. So when I say pieced on point, that's what this means, because you have a triangle here and a triangle here. And these are the kind of quilts that I struggle the most with, is that. Now another thing that we're showing you is I've digged through all of my quilts at home. This is one of my all-time favorite quilts. It doesn't have a label on it, so I don't know the year. If I had to guess, I would say 2005, if I had to guess. So this is the quilt. And when I said earlier that I used to make quilts with the same block over and over, and that was the theme, this is what I mean. And this is what I used to do all the time. Now this fabric is the way fig tree fabric looked originally. This is called Cinnamon Stars. And let's see on the top camera. So this is called Cinnamon Stars. This quilt has been washed plenty of times. It does not have a label, but this was the original coloring of fig tree fabrics. And at the time, this was a pattern called O's, O''S. Now I asked Joanna about it, and she says she didn't have the file anymore, so she couldn't re-release it or anything because I asked her to. But you can see my quilting on this is different than how I quilt now. And I wonder if, okay, this is custom quilted though. I wonder, yeah, see, I can tell this is a long time ago because look, there's a seam in my border. That drives me crazy. But this quilt actually lives upstairs, and it actually goes right outside my twins' bedroom. And this is what I use if I'm upstairs because I love this quilt. And I love how it has like a skinny, medium, and then a skinny border. But it's fun to just find stuff. Oh, and oh, see that seam? See, I can tell the year I did these things by that. And this was made, yeah, Fat Quarter Shop had started. So that's that one. And then I'm going to feature some what's new stuff because we haven't done that in a while. This one is called Merry Making. It is designed by us at It's So Emma. and it's a row quilt. And when we colored this INSPO quilt, we colored it in Christmas, Americana, and Halloween, because this collection, which is called Holiday Essentials, comes in 4 holidays. The only reason we didn't color it in the Valentine colorway is there were not enough SKUs in the Valentine to make it work. So that is available now as a PDF, a paper, and a quilt kit. And Jocelyn designed it and Gina quilted it. And we have another Jolly Bar quilt that we're going to show. This one is what is the free pattern in the Christmas morning Jolly Bar. So if you're going to buy that Christmas morning Jolly Bar to use with all the trimmings, you could either do this or that. And I love this quilt. And then our next quilt is called Dazzling Diamonds. It is a quilt kit that Moda put together. Oh, actually it's not. It's a Jolly Bar kit. So this is the free Jolly Bar pattern that comes in the Happy Days Jolly Bar. I love this one. I love this design. So those are some new quilt kits. I'll show you the bottom too. And then I'll show you some new, just some other new things that have come in. We haven't done this segment in forever, so there's kind of a lot. And then, oh, I messed up all my pillows. So these, I saw these are so cute. Oh my gosh, these are the cutest things ever. So this is, there's 3 new kits. And I think they're gonna make, I think Moda's gonna make more. And what they are Amy Brady patterns with Bella solids. And the reason they're sitting up is because this little thing, but I don't wanna open it. But it's basically Bella solids. They're a great price point, and I think they would be super easy to make. I love this one. And I think they're gonna be making more of these, so that's exciting because I do think these are gonna be popular. I would say they're intermediate level just because there are a lot of pieces, but how cute would that be for a new baby? And they're also, the great thing is they're unisex, so if you're, you know, someone who, you need to make a gift for somebody, but you know, you're not sure if they're having a boy or a girl, these are cute. This is kind of the stuff that I wish was around when I had little bitty babies. Now I have teenagers. To talk back. This one's pretty cool. This is a Moda kit. It's called Red Barn Christmas, and it is designed by Sweetwater. It's called Starlight Sampler, and what I like about this one is it's kind of a cheater quilt because some of these blocks are cheater, but then some of them you have to applique. So it does require applique. So it has the pattern, and see, this is the panel that you can cheat from. So maybe the whole thing is cheater. No, it's not. Some of it you have to applique. And I love when I get the boxes. And one request that we got, a lot of requests what we got for several years is for us to carry Anna Maria Horner fabrics. So here you go. This is her brand new Love Always. It's a very big scale, but it is modern and we have had a lot of requests for it. So I just want you to know that we do listen and we try to order. I don't know how this will sell, but some of these prints are really awesome. I could see like a dress or something like that. I could really see like a cute skirt with this. Let me go this way. I'll go the other way now. So yeah, this is this one's really cool. Different for us. That's cool. So I wanted to let you know that we got that. And then Laundry Basket Quilts is Aditya Sitar, and she has a brand new collection called Bluebird. And the reason I wanted to show you this is I also wanted to tell you that they announced last week that they are going to also reprint Blue Sky, which was one of her first collections with Andover, and Blue Sky and Blue Bird will go together. So if you're ever looking for, like, sometimes when you're looking for a quilt and you want a lot of blues, those two would mix. And I think it's cool that they're going to reprint. So this is, you know, very traditional, but a lot of you guys love this kind of stuff. And then this is my favorite thing. It's not fabric, it's a clipboard. But Lori made a clipboard, so I'm so excited. I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna use it. So that's pretty awesome. And then let's see. So I'm gonna answer some questions, and then I still have more. Okay. Anita asked if do we still have the retro Christmas kits with Rudolph or Santa? I have no idea. Let me think of what that was called. Swell Christmas. We have the Swell Christmas quilt pattern, and we have the panel, but I don't think we have the kits. So I would search on our website Urban Chicks Santa. That's what I would search. Am I going to have this in yardage too? Yes, anything I show you here, we will have yardage pre-cuts if the manufacturer makes the pre-cuts. What size triangles on a roll can you use for the Christmas morning Jolly Bar kit? Email nova@fatquartershop.com and she will answer you, because I know she will know the answer off the top of her head instead of me looking for that, because I don't know that. Anne would like to know, do you think I could do all the trimmings with the fabric from the Sew Sampler box and one Jolly Bar? Yeah, I do. Obviously you'll need to add background. Kara said, how can seams and borders be avoided? Or does Kimberly mean she does the border seams a different way? I add my borders now length of fabric because I don't have the time to sew that seam, but I also cut my borders before I cut anything else out of the quilt. So I'll try to use a fabric on the border that is also used in the quilt, but I do use length of fabric. Am I going to Quilt Market this year? No, I'm not going to Quilt Market or Quilt Festival. Karen said, what is the name of the large dot? Okay, it is from the collection called Sincerely Yours, and the yardage is not out yet, but it will be out soon. Does the kit use the dot for the background? Yes. So everything I just showed you is exactly how we packaged our kits. So we had Moda put the kits together for us, and I cut my kit to match exactly what you would get. So that's why I was showing you guys before I starch it and cut it all up. Do I have videos making fast quilted Christmas gifts? Yeah. And I'm sure like we'll have like a kind of like we just did with the fall, we'll do something like that with Christmas too. Have I spoken about the ribbon run through it quilt along? Ribbon run through it quilt along. I have not. So that I believe is a Marcus Brothers block of the month, and I don't think I have the quilt to show, which is why I haven't talked about it. When will the mesh bags be back in stock? September 15th. Nancy would like to know, what is the best quilt pattern for somebody who's never done a quilt before using fat quarter bundles? I have a couple I like, but it's hard to know how it will look with the patterns. So I think a great way to start would be go to our Shortcut Quilts playlist and look at some of our fat quarter quilts, because there's some really good ones there. What fabric would I recommend for baby bibs? I would probably use a flannel, because then they'll be soft if they use it for the baby's face. And there's some really nice flannels that are baby. They're called Cozy Cotton Flannel, and they're by Robert Kaufman, and they're a really nice price point. Marilyn is asking, can quilts be made with flannel or only cotton? Yeah, you can use flannel. You can use cotton. I would, if you're going to do something with flannel, I would do something that uses bigger cuts, like the Layer Cake Lemonade, or something just with really big pieces, because flannel is thicker, and if you start making tiny 3-inch blocks with it, the back is going to be really puffy. Nita Poole said, can a solid Jolly Bar use for the background for the Christmas morning Jolly Bar kit? Email nova@fatquartershop.com and ask her, because I don't know off the top of my head. Liz says, are the fabrics look orange on camera? Are they coral? Yeah, they're definitely coral. They're not orange. Rita said, can you cut clear vinyl the size of your design boards, then use clover clips to cut your pieces? Keep them in place. Oh, you can cut vinyl and then use clover cutter. Okay, so what she's saying is you can get a design board, cut some vinyl, clip it on with Wonder Clips, and then your fabrics will stick. So that's a great idea. Have I made a reversible quilt with alternate holidays? I have not, but I have a hard time like keeping up with what quilts I do have. So if it was reversible, I don't know what I would do. Crafting a Plan Live, are the patterns in the Jolly Bar the same for a fabric line, or are they different? So every Jolly Bar pattern is unique to that collection. But if you buy one collection, you're going to get that same Jolly Bar. So if you bought, if you bought 2 of Christmas Morning, you're going to get the same pattern. But if you bought Cozy Up, you would get a different pattern. Is Sincerely Yours beginner friendly? Yes, I think it is. So again, I wanted to talk a couple more things. So the first thing is, I'm not going to be here next Friday, but I will have a YouTube premiere, so you still have something to look forward to. I wanted to show some photos of my son, Will. So Saturday night, he texted me. He doesn't have a phone, but he has an iPad. So he texted me and he said, how much chore money do I have? And I was like, well, I have a chore if you want more chore money. So he came to my office, and this is the first pop-up. I taught him how to wind bobbins, and it took him an hour and a half to wind, I think, 70 bobbins. So I'll just flip through a couple of the photos. So those are like the bobbins that I laid out, and he had to wind all of those. And then, yeah, that's him doing it. He really liked it. So he said he was going to come back the next day to finish more, because I have another tray of bobbins like that are empty, but he never came back. And that's how they look. And so I was so proud of him. I showed Kevin, because I was like, my bobbins have never been so neat. So when I do my bobbins, they don't ever come out that nice. So it was so awesome to have him do that, because it saved me so much time. I wanted to say thank you to Cheryl Paul for Super Chat. And we do have some new YouTube members, and we're going to be putting a poll out for our members. And the poll is going to be about I'm going to give you some choices to pick from for what I'm going to do on my next member live, so that y'all can pick, and then whatever gets the most votes is what we'll do. But our new members are Jennifer Jungles and Christina Phelps. And then in honor of Starbucks releasing their pumpkin spice latte, we're going to pay it forward and give a gift certificate away to a lucky winner, and you're gonna get this gift card and a Jolly Bar of Cozy Up. But we want you to comment and tell me what your favorite Starbucks drink is. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.